these things. They're not planes, helicopters, kites, balloons, blimps, clouds, birds, reflections from the ground, a dirigible, a zeppelin, a bunch of child's balloons. What are they? They were close enough that we could see they were metallic. Not shiny, but like brushed aluminum. They were tipped ellipses. In other words, not quite oval, but you know, if you take a dinner plate and you just tip it like that, you look at it like that, it was that shape. If we were directly under them, they would have been round. We could both make out along the edges. These regular, they were more regular, they were there for several minutes at least, so that's forever. But we could make out regular detailing around the edge that was slightly maybe off yellow. They were that close. And I was not happy about this at all. You hearing me say it? Maybe part of you saying, this would be the most amazing moment in my life. What's his problem? Well, my problem was this, and I worked this out in therapy years later, and with the assistance of a brilliant professor I studied with at New York University who took the subject very seriously. Number one, my sister was 12, and still at the far cusp of childhood. She was getting into more young adult things, but still had probably an imaginary friend and played with dolls. I was a raging mass of adolescent hormones. I only had one goal, well, two goals in life, to get some cooler clothes than the ones that my mother inflicted on me, and to get my hands on a girl. And I knew in my heart of hearts, if I ever talked about this, if I went into junior high school the next day and told anybody that I had seen, Helen and me saw 5 flying saucers over the Parker's house, the way I had it wired up, and I'm saying this in a lighthearted way, but I swear this governed my thinking. The possibility of ever having a sex life was not going to happen. No girl was ever going to sleep with me in history. I swear, I was so concerned about being judged, being ridiculed. And again, I just wanted to fit in. I mean, you know, it's just that time in your life. Helen's thoughts were on something else. And after she told me what she remembered, several other things came up. Number one, that she had never forgotten it. She thought about it often every day for a little while. How could this be? Well, my sister and I were very close. She passed in 2000, but we were very close. And she said, well, it was pretty simple. You made it clear that afternoon when I said, let's talk about this, you were not comfortable talking about it. You're my older brother. I love you. I respect you. One day led to the next week, to the month, to the year, and here we are. But I never forgot about it. I always thought it made me feel special. And I'm putting this together going, wow, this is amazing. Life is different than I thought. And then she said something I'll never forget, which is, but there's more and you're not going to like it. I said, well, what's that? She said, well, you know, you were standing to my right, and we were looking and looking and looking and looking. And at a certain point, I just saw you peel off and disappear out of my peripheral vision. And I assumed you went to run into the house to tell Mom, who in fact was in the house making my lunch. And that is what I was intending to do, and I took off. And she said she turned at a certain moment, and she looked at me, and she said, something happened to you. My conscious memory matched it, which was, believe it or not, within a matter of 2 seconds, maybe 3, I forgot about the UFOs. Well, how could that be? Something more compelling was happening. I was experiencing the strangest sensation of my life. I felt like I was moving through molasses. I felt that if I spoke, it would sound like a record that was being slowed down tremendously. My whole world had gone into slow motion, and I had lost my motor coordination. I was falling, in my perception, in extremely slow motion. No fear at all. My last 3 conscious thoughts, before everything went blue for a split second and then everything went black, were, gee, I'm falling toward the sidewalk leading up to our house, coming in diagonally from the lawn, the ants are building their, world in the cracks in the sidewalk. Always interested me as a kid.